Welcome back to Midday Kentucky, everyone. Well, our panel, which is completely dedicated to the LGBTQ community, is all about pride and where we stand here in the state of Kentucky. So let's now focus on Josh Mears, who is the Lexington Fairness Chair, the advocacy arm for the LGBTQ community. He's also the Commissioner of Human Rights right here in Lexington. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Okay. Well, I think it's good. It's good to have an open discussion. Why is the Fairness Ordinance so important?
Well, because it says you can't fire somebody, you can't, evict them from their home, you can't deny them public accommodation because you perceive that they're LGBT. And we passed ours in 1999 by a council vote of 12-3 in 1999, and it has stood the test of time. And what it does is it empowers the Human Rights Commission, which I also happen to serve, and I'm not the only commissioner. There are actually several of us that are part of the commission. But it empowers us to investigate a claim. Prior to that fairness ordinance, there was no recourse. And if you're outside of 9 cities in the state of Kentucky that have a fairness ordinance, you have no recourse. But it allows us to investigate, and it allows us to mediate a claim of discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Okay. We have a National Marriage Act now. What's next? What's the next fight after that?
I continue to think the next big fight that has to happen is federal protection. Because like right now in Kentucky, we only have the 9 cities and those are being threatened. It's taken since the early 1980s for us to get 9 cities. Can you imagine how long it's going to take us to get the other 111 counties in Kentucky protected in any form? And I don't see that happening unless federal steps in and says they are part of a protected class now.
You say you can't see it happening unless federal steps in, but what can you do at the grassroots here as leaders of our community do that will really make a change?
The biggest thing is again, education. It's reminding that next generation that marriage was not the mountaintop, so to speak. There is still a fight to go on. The second part is to try to, make sure that folks, in Frankfort or in D.C. that represent us, that they know, who you are. To steal from Harvey Milk from the 1970s in San Francisco, you got to come out. You've got to let people know when it's safe and when it's possible for you. Let your people know that they love somebody that is LGBT, and it makes the process so much easier for us to affect change when someone has a personal relationship with someone who identifies as LGBT.
I just want to clarify something you just said there. When you said you have to come out, do you mean come out as what people would be sitting home and think out of the closet, or do you mean come out and vote?
Both. I'm going to say both, but yes, I was actually in that case referring to out of the closet.
Yeah. Is it?
In Troy, it's tough.
Yeah, I know. Even me
tough.
trying to put the words into my mouth to how do you? I have some young guys back home in Australia that I have helped get through that process. And it's very difficult. It's really hard to know what to say to them. And if you have a loved one, a brother or sister who is trying to come out, just tell the audience at home, what can they say to, if you know that they might be gay, what do you say?
It's a very personal decision and a very personal journey. But I think if you know that you have a community, and if we can let everyone know there is a community and there's great leadership in the community that can support them in that journey, it helps make it a little bit easier. Reach out, talk to a friend, find the trust. It's out there.
Tuesday.
I just want to remind everybody that it's never all right to out somebody. It's their decision when they come out. No matter what, no matter how much good you think you're doing that person, if you know somebody who has confided in you that they are LGBTQ, it's up to them to do the timing when they decide to do that. You can talk to them. You can be their confidant. You can be their friend, sister, brother, whatever. But it's not all right to out anybody, ever.
I agree with you. I think we all agree on that.
Absolutely.
We'll be back after this short break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame Awards coming up soon.